We sold a $280 Blu-ray. Welcome back to episode 4 of the DVD series. Today we're going to talk a little bit about how we're diversifying our incomes to make sure we're getting through this little financial downturn, and we're going to go through some of our sales from the weekend. We actually had our biggest weekend of sales with 9 going out the door, including that $280 sale. So let's get into it. First up is one of those DVDs you would have seen us pick up in probably the second episode, I think it was, Big Girls Blouse, and that one sold for $39. We actually have 2 more of those, so hopefully that pushes up the rankings, and the other 2 sell as well. I'm going out the door is this Scott & Bailey, and we actually picked this up from an op shop for $5. You'll see in the SKU there that's got op shop. This one was brand new and sealed. I hadn't actually heard of this one before. I just thought it might be something interesting to comp, and it turned out that it sold within a couple of weeks, so definitely keep your eye out for this one. Next up, I'm actually surprised by this sale. It is this Gilmore Girls, the full series we sold for $39.95. You guys might actually remember this from, I think it was the last video, we were talking about TMNT, and we actually sold series 1 of the Fast Forward collection. This is an NTSC, so region 1 version of Fast Forward, but we did sell that one for $50. Next up is this Terry Pratchett's Going Postal that sold for $29.95. Here's a very interesting one. Most Star Wars movies are not worth any money, but these theatrical versions, if you can find 1 to 6, go for really good money. This set sold for $79.95. Alright, these next 3 DVDs and Blu-rays were actually picked up from auction, and we paid $300 for a box of them, and that does sound crazy, but one of these actually has already sold for $280, which pretty much pays for almost all of it. And there were some other really good titles in this lot, and a lot of them were brand new and sealed. So I'm going to show you those 3 and explain how we've divvied out the cost of goods on these, because we haven't actually averaged it out. We've adjusted it depending on how expensive the DVD or Blu-ray is. So this Tex Avery right here, brand new and sealed Blu-ray, sold for $30. So we did put a $5 COG on this one. And this Watership Down, I believe this is a Criterion collection, so keep your eye out for Criterion collection. This one sold for $35, and we put $6 cost of goods on this one. And this 5 Tall Tales we sold for $280, including postage. Now this one is new and sealed. It was a numbered collection, and we put $40 COG on this. So the reason we do that is because obviously if we averaged it out, some of them would have been too expensive and others would have been too cheap. So it just makes more sense to spread it across all the DVDs and Blu-rays. But essentially the average cost of goods on that would have been about $10 each. Hey guys, it is now Wednesday. We had a couple really good sales overnight that I wanted to show you guys before we start talking about our whole business structure and how the DVD store is only a very small amount of that structure. So let's pick those orders and then we'll get into that discussion. 5 orders to pick today. Well, actually 4. 1 came through this morning, but I'm going to pick it and send it out today anyway to get it out the door. First up was this bill, and it is series 1, and it did sell for $25. So I did take a little bit of an offer on that one, and it was a transfer from the old store. So it is nice to see these transfers actually selling now that we've done a little bit more work on them, and we're starting to get rid of all those excess that we don't need. The next one didn't even make it to the DVD section yet, as it only got photoed yesterday, and it is actually in 12 here, and it is this Pitfall, which sold for $27. Love a good bundle deal, and these TMNTs have been selling really quickly, and we actually sold 2 to 1 buy. First up was Box 1 Season 3, which sold for $89.95, and Season 5 sold for $44.95. And this is probably one of our best palette finds so far. It is this series of The Closer, which sold for $129.95. Okay, let's talk a little bit about our full business structure and how the DVD store is only probably not even 5% of our time, maybe 10% by the time I actually finish filming these videos for you guys. But it is a very small part of our business at the moment. This is kind of in a response to a comment we got last week asking about a breakdown of our numbers and also talking about how they thought we could do better with the DVD store. It's quite interesting though, because essentially what they were saying in terms of they would be sifting through the palette by hand and then wholesaling out the rest of the DVDs would be their strategy, and that's exactly what we're doing. So I was a little bit confused by that, but I did want to explain a little bit more about our whole business structure. And in terms of like a full numbers breakdown, we have done this over on Instagram before, and after everything, including our GST, which a lot of people seem to like miss out of their number breakdown, we're sitting around that 30%. So at the time we were doing that one, it was about 32, and currently it's about 29.95. So we are sitting in that 30% range, which is what we had sort of budgeted for pre-coming into this business, knowing that there was 4 of us that needed to be paid, And we had that goal of hitting between $600,000 and $700,000 for this first financial year as we continue to grow this business. And in relation to this, I wanted to talk about all of our income streams in a linear way that you guys can understand. So obviously eBay is our biggest income stream. We have 3 stores now running. We have our store, we have Kara's store, and we have now the DVD store, which is starting to build a little bit of momentum, and hopefully that continues to grow and you guys will get to follow that along as well. But they are not our only income streams. We are trying to diversify our business and make sure that if eBay has a bad day, we have other things coming in. So we've started looking at wholesale, which we're doing with the DVD pallets. We're also looking into if we can do this with books. So that will be something to keep an eye out for in the future. We are also doing auctions, which means we take stuff to auctions every second week. Stuff that doesn't really want to move on eBay or doesn't quite fit those criteria that we are looking for on eBay, we will take to auction. And last week we actually made $1,000 from that auction. So every couple of weeks we're hoping to make about that amount through those auction sources, and maybe more if we can continue to source them out and make them better. The next one, which we haven't spoken about too much and we've only really started to sort of source for this platform, is Facebook Marketplace. So we're not cross-listing anything from eBay. Daniel's actually managing that to try and get a little bit more money through in that avenue, and we can buy some of those bigger items that are too hard to ship and move locally. So last week I think we made about $600 just from Facebook, which was definitely a big help to the week, and we hope to continue growing that over time. And the last one, which Kara is going to be working on soon, is a rent-a-rack. So this is going to be a whole new experience for us. We have quite a few rent-a-racks in town, and we're actually going to be frequently one of our favorites, which is Tweedy Hands. So we will be putting a rack or 2 in there over the next sort of few months. It takes a while to get in there because they are so booked out and so popular. But we're sort of planning to use that as a bit of a sell through with our stock that we get, that's sort of that $15 to $20 mark that we don't really want to put on eBay, but it's still desirable stock. So we've done a bit of market research and we're looking at all the different options to make sure our business succeeds in what I can only explain as a little bit of a financial downturn, as you guys know, with all the rate rises and the cost of living crisis. I think it's very important to have multiple strategies in place, especially when we have so many overheads in this warehouse.
Our main eBay stores are definitely still the biggest part of our income in here, and I'll show you some of the sales from our main store that we haven't packed yet, because this one sold same day. We only listed them yesterday. I don't want to try and pronounce it. It's Reichel, and it's the Mammut boot, and it sold same day for $89.95. Also really excited about this one because we just picked this up at a garage sale this very weekend. It is the PS4 Back to the Future 30th anniversary edition game, and we sold this one in a couple of days for $119. We only paid $10. Okay, I gotta show you one more because this Richard Corbin art book sold for $159.95, and that's a pre-owned book.
So yeah, there is a lot going on in this business, and there is a lot of little income streams that we're looking to build so that going forward we're more comfortable in this position and we can continue to scale this business to that $1 million a year business that we're looking for long term. So thanks for watching, and we will see you on the next one.